and welcome to your messages for the week. Today is Sunday, the 6th of March, 2022. And March has pretty much a theme running throughout it. So if you haven't seen the messages for the month of March, then please do. I'll put a link in the description and the video in the end screen, because the messages for the month of March were about you contribute to world peace when you create peace within you. And I think that's an ongoing message that we need to heed, as well as the message from last week, which was about the conflict is inside you. This is a message that really needs to be understood, and a lot of people are going to say to me, how can we have peace inside? Have you seen what's going on in the world? You know, all the atrocities and and all the division and everything else. And I'm going to say to those people that say that, there have always been atrocities going on in the world, and there will always be until you find peace within yourself. There is only you. You are the whole universe in one human being. You create your reality. Those that can create peace within themselves are creating a peaceful environment. If you're not experiencing a peaceful environment, then I lovingly urge you to reflect on the fact that you are a quantum being. You are a multi-dimensional energy being. And I think when you can start tapping into the knowledge and understanding and love that comes with that, then you're going to really be able to create that peace within when you understand how you create your reality. So you might be looking on media, mainstream or alternative, at atrocities, but you're bringing them into your reality. You might be experiencing them in your immediate reality. Okay, you might just be hearing about them secondhand. So the intensity of the atrocities will depend on the intensity of conflict within you. So it's a scale. It's not just one day I'm feeling conflicted, the next day, you know, everything's peace and love. No, there is a scale, and that scale involves healing, releasing, self-realization, expansion, understanding, acceptance, forgiveness, all those lovely spiritual lessons. The inner work, as I call it. But it does work. The inner work does work, because I know numerous people that are living in peace and harmony, that love what is, and are shining their light so brightly for others to do the same. So yeah, if you want to be one of those people living in peace and harmony, shining their light, then stick with this channel. Check out my Lessons in Awakening here on YouTube, and also the self-healing section of this channel. And I send you love and light on your healing journey as we wake up to the fact that we, oh my goodness me, can't make it up. I just said wake up to the fact that we, and look what came out, Judgment card, Archangel Gabriel waking up the dead. That's what this card is about, spiritual awakenings. I love how it works. So yes, so we can wake up to the fact that we are the creators of our own reality, and what is outside of us is actually a reflection of what's inside. So when we change what's inside, and look at everything from a higher level of consciousness, from a different perspective, I always say from a soul level, understanding that at a soul level, we've chosen all of this for whatever reason. Okay, we've had free will, and very often we've accumulated, whether you want to call it negative karma, the pain body, trapped emotions, what have you, we've accumulated that from making negative choices in our life. And hanging on to things that don't serve us. So there's only us responsible. There's always only us responsible. So anyway, that one just came out. I was still shuffling, sorry. Anything else? Oh, well done. That came out when I said anything. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Three's the magic number. So already I've started the theme, even though I hadn't pulled the cards, because the second one is the Fool. And actually, look how powerful all three are, because these are all major arcanic cards. Okay, there's 78 cards in the deck, and only 22 of them are major arcanic. So the chances of getting all three major arcanic cards. So this is about how powerful this month is. If you haven't started your healing journey, this is the month to do it. If you have started your healing journey, you're gonna get into some intensity here. Doesn't have to feel that bad when you understand what's going on. This is about spiritual awakenings. The first thing we need to do to benefit and to awaken spiritually is to be open to it. It's to be open to it. Now, very often, those of us most connected were actually the biggest skeptics. Yeah, we were. I remember when I was learning Reiki, and I did the course because I wanted to learn reflexology. And then I found a course that had reflexology, massage, aromatherapy, and Reiki was part of that course. It wasn't something I was consciously wanting to choose. I wanted to do the other things. So I was attending a Reiki class, kind of like, let's say skeptically. And I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't seeing it. I wasn't being disrespectful in any way. I just wasn't feeling it, wasn't seeing it, wasn't really understanding it, to be honest. And we would work in these groups, and people would report back on colours they'd seen and things, you know, and I just pulled a blank all the time. And so then I got a little bit, you know, miffed about it all. And I was doing a practice, and we were working on each other, obviously. And one of my colleagues on the course was lying on the couch, and there was somebody at her feet, somebody in the middle working on her, and I was at the head. And I was just literally sitting there like this, going through my shopping list. What have I got to do today? Like, just, you know, I was enjoying the peace, you know, from in the room, but I just didn't understand it. I didn't believe it. I didn't really, you know, I'm not saying I wasn't taking it seriously. As I said, I wasn't being disrespectful, but I was skeptic. Let's just say I was skeptic. Anyway, the girl on the couch had been working all weekend with a heavy piece of machinery to cut the hedges all around her garden, and her arms were just completely tired. And you know, she was really stiff in the arms, and so she wasn't using them, you know, because they had worked so much over the weekend. And as I was just sitting there, sort of like thinking, oh, da, 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 suddenly I lost the use of my arms, and they just fell down like this. I couldn't lift them, and I just had this intense pain going through the muscles of my arms, and I panicked. And fortunately, the teacher, the lovely, lovely teacher, I don't know whether she watches these, but if you're out there, lots of love to you. She noticed this, and she energetically saw a sign above my head saying, help. And she came over and cleared the energy from my arms quite confidently and beautifully. And that was my wake-up call. That was my wake-up call to the fact that energy, it flows, it can flow from one person to another, and that we can actually be a conduit, negatively or positively, right? How we experience it. We can pick up energy when we don't want to, but when we're conscious about it, we can help others through energy healing, and etc., etc. So I'm sharing that story with you because it's about awakenings, and maybe you have some interesting stories from how you woke up to the power of energy. I'd love to hear about that in the comments. But it's about being, yeah, lots of skeptics. Mind you, you probably wouldn't be watching this video if you were really skeptical about energy. But I think there's levels of waking up, and I think we still do not know our power. I'm going to keep ranting about this one because honestly, the universe is just delivering and delivering and delivering. That was the midweek message. If you haven't seen it, check that out as well. I'll put a link in the description and in the end screen. Because the universe is delivering, but only to those that aren't skeptical. You have to believe to receive. So yeah, that's what's going on here. Let's take our belief to another level. Let's take our belief to another level, because the more we believe in miracles, the more they will occur, and the more we will see them appear in our reality. It's beautiful. It is a whole new journey. I started off before the cards came out saying that there are people living in peace and harmony, that of course are working towards harmonizing the collective, but their actual life is in peace and harmony. They're not triggered by conflict. This is the thing. They could still watch it on a screen, see something on the screen. It's not coming into their physical reality. And if they do see it on a screen, they're not triggered by it. They understand it. They understand the purpose of the adversity. They understand the purpose of the atrocities. They understand that it's all there to wake you up. Okay, so this is about not being triggered by it. If things are upsetting you, then you're being triggered by them. Okay, whereas if you can see something and just accept what is, right, without putting a label on it, without saying good or bad. It's like Shakespeare said, there is no good and bad. There is only your thinking that makes it so. So there could be an event that you view as positive. The next person could view that same event as negative. It's your thinking that makes something positive or negative, and it's your beliefs behind your thinking that tell you whether something is good or bad. Okay, so, but this is about releasing all judgment, releasing those judgments. I mean, this is the judgment card. And I've always thought that, I think it's like one of the last steps to heaven on earth, or one of the last spiritual lessons, or however you want to view it, is about releasing all judgment of yourself as well, of course, but all judgment of everything. You know, you can't really judge what's on the outside of you without judging yourself, because everything on the outside of you comes from inside of you. So it is about self-judgment in the end. But either way, judgment, yeah, it's coming up about not judging, not jumping to conclusions, not judging, not assuming. Can we not assume that just because something's come into our reality through media, that it needs us to jump up and down? There are loads of things going on. I just want to point out that there are atrocities going on in all over the world, and there has been for eons. And you know, just because the media want you to focus on one particular type, you know, think about it. This is really a time for going within and not watching mainstream media or alternative media. Okay, it really is a time for you to go within and feel the conflict within you, and find peace with it, which will come from understanding what is, accepting what is, forgiveness, all of which is in my videos in the Lessons in Awakening. So the Fool is the whole new journey, spiritually guided, taking very little forward with him, because, you know, we just don't need half the stuff that we carry around with us. Fruition, there's your fruition. Your fruition lies in your frequency, okay? Not in your bank balance. He's got very little, but he's happy. He's got a spring in his step and a song in his heart, okay? He's doing the thing that makes his heart sing. He's got his faithful companion, and wherever he goes, he's going to create his own abundance, his own fruition, because your future lies in your frequency, and he knows that. So it's having that frequency of peace. You know, if we look at the chart of consciousness, peace right there at the top, right? So when you hit that frequency of peace, then that frequency is going to get reflected back to you in peaceful scenarios. He's very peaceful. This is the beginning. This is how we create heaven on earth. And the third card is the Chariot. The Chariot is a healing card, going in the right direction. So you're definitely going in the right direction. And what's beautiful about it, I think, it is about overcoming emotions. So there is a message here about emotional cleansing. When you're triggered, really, I'll put a link into that one as well. Understanding triggers. for me personally, it was one of the most important lessons on this path. Understanding that when I'm triggered, that emotion is actually mine. And that frequency within me has created what I'm looking at as the trigger. Actually, I'm the trigger. I created it. I created the trigger because it's vibrating at the same frequency. Okay, whereas this is why I said those people at peace, they're not triggered by it. So they can see something, some conflict, but it's not triggering anything within them because they've released their conflict. They're not actually creating it, they're just observing it, if that makes sense. Okay, so and this card is about overcoming those emotions. So yes, there's a message here about emotional healing, of course, there always is. But also it's rising above the division. You've got the black and white here, the yin and yang, however you want to call it. And he's risen above the division and he's in a chariot, so he's going really quickly. And the message for me with this card is that when you rise above the division, that's what we were talking about, the judgment. Rise above the division of good and bad, so that you can love what is. Okay, rise above the division, and that's going to take you forward at a speed of knots to the heaven on earth, to this new adventure, this new way of living, this new way of being. This is the new way of sharing. This is the new earth. What can I tell you? This is how we create it. This is how we create it. So March, all right, of this week, or I mean, these messages are timeless, right? But it's about not being skeptical. Yeah, this is usually about spiritual awakenings and life purpose. But our life purpose is in waking up to our spirituality. It is. It's self-realization. You know, we came here, basically agreed to forget everything because we wanted to enjoy the journey of learning it all again, because it is joyful learning it all. So if you are finding that your life is repeating patterns, okay, and you're kind of stuck in a cycle of conflict, whether it be, you know, what's going on in the outside world, or whether it be with your neighbors, your friends, your family, you know, have a look inside. And check out the last two videos that I posted, because it's all relevant. This is what's coming to a head, I think, in March. And it's such a powerful month astrologically that your manifestations are going to happen really quickly. So be open. This card is saying be open to receiving more miracles. You know, because, you know, believing in the miracles is what's going to bring them in. And it doesn't have to be all spiritual woo-woo miracle making. It's quantum physics. It's a frequency thing. But when you do put your attention on the things you want to create with an emotion of excitement and love and joy, okay, it's that frequency of all of that that is going to create it in your outside world. So to your human, it's going to look like a miracle. Do you see what I mean? Because it's going to look like it's come out of nowhere, but it hasn't. What's happened is your frequency has aligned with it, because everything's in existence already, and you only get to experience that you resonate with. So if you have conflict and the frequency of conflict within you, or the frequency of resentment, bitterness, anger, frustration, or whatever within you, you know, then you're going to experience all of that in your outside world, because that's how it works. So if you can always look at the positive side of everything, which again, as I said, if you look at things from a soul level, it's easier to do, I think. Check out my second book, Heal Your Soul. I'll put a link in the description as well, because that helps you understand things from a soul level. And I think that's where it helps you rise above this division, is when you can actually see everything from a soul level, not the human level. I think that's a really major point here, because that's going to help you with your gratitude list, accepting everything that is, forgiving things, understanding that you're the creator, there's only you, so therefore it's only you that you ever need to forgive. and start focusing your time, your energy, your investments, your resources, and your attention on what makes you feel good. Write affirmations, repeat affirmations in your head, write a gratitude list, focus on those positive energies, look for the good, you know, don't dwell on the negativity. I've said before, keep an eye on it if you want to keep up to date with things, but put your energy, your time, your money, your resources, you know, your attention, put it on your dreams, you know, dream boards and all this stuff, you know. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, it doesn't really work. Well, if you're thinking that, it won't. That's you being skeptical. That's what this week's about. Get out of that. Pretend, believe it, choose to believe it. I mean, you know, if you're going around in repeated patterns, you know, something's got to change, hasn't it? Something's got to give. So just, yeah, catch yourself when you're being skeptical. Catch yourself. And just be open. Keep your mind open to everything and attached to nothing, but just be open to things being different. Be open to your multidimensional being. Be open to the higher realms. You know, everything exists. Be open to your galactic family, your spirit guides, your angels. You know, be open to it all, but not attached. But the more you can open up to the higher parts of you, then the more understanding and acceptance you're going to be able to have. And the more you're going to be able to create this beautiful heaven on earth. It's the beginning of a beautiful journey that we're all embarking on. So let's rise above the division. Okay? There's no two sides. No, 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 no. Like it came up in one of the previous videos, you know, people that are experiencing atrocities, it's because they're learning to love themselves. We experience adversity so that we can wake up to the fact that we need to love ourselves. So those creating atrocities, experiencing atrocities, it's all a lack of self-love. And people being triggered by atrocities is also a lack of self-love, because there's emotions inside of conflict, not love. You see what I'm saying? It's all caused by a lack of self-love. So this is a powerful reading. 3 major arcanic cards. Wake up. Just open your mind to the fact that you're even more powerful than you ever dreamt of, because we are at the beginning of this beautiful journey of self-love to the new earth, and we need to rise above all the division, all the judgment, and just focus on doing the thing that makes our heart sing. If you'd like a private reading, please get in touch. I'll put a link in the description. Lots of love to you all. Have a great week. Bye for now.